So I'm going to introduce this guy. If you've been to Neighborhood before, sorry, I'm getting emotional. Like, this guy is like my family. I love him so much. Like, he goes so hard for everyone. Taji Lasano to the stage, guys.
Let it rip, yeah, man, I've been spinning. From the hip, yeah, man, I've been killing. Water to wine, no spilling. King Kong, stay fried, go reeling. I wing it like an angel. Everything in my life, I'm grateful. Already sweet, tasteful. Own everything, label. Hand on the ring, stable. Progressing on the table. Focusing on the pay though. No messing with my babe, bro. Magic with it, blessed by spirit. This ain't Quidditch, Nimbus with it. Been the realest, open healing. Biggest vision, dig birth kidding. Built off rhythms, give it a mic, kill it. Sick of no shows, COVID-19 billing. Now 93, double O, been winning. Grown folks got them Olympic ribbon. I take the pedestal, you better call your realest artist. Moving fentanyl, thinking man's not the hardest. Lick in this crap market, moving mad. When's the last time you seen a hyena barking? Started on the stage, had bars in my hand but my hand would shake. Still I got praise, presents for days. Second city boy but I'm in first place. Got the gang with me, what I got to prove, never hide my face. I be like yeah. Sip I get lit to this. You can take a risk on this. Never hit or miss. Let me grant you wish. Yeah. I be like, yeah. Sip and get lit to this. You can take a risk on this. Never hit or miss. Let me grant you wish. Now I'm in it for the competition. My fire's in line like tunnel vision. Step in the firing line, get a P45 these times. Yeah, I'm cool with the vision. Since day I had to speak up to listen. Rent's paid, now I'm working under wisdom. Trying to write a book but the plot thickens. Is this my hero, what I could do or become the villain? Joker, fiddling with my fiddle on the roof. Man's Esco with the bar, just found the coca. Chopping up independent card, this world don't know how to distribute the truth. If you know, then you know, bruh. Ha, they said rap like this, rap like that. Told them all to the face, burn all of that. Put my soul in my raps, now I'm opening up the map, that's facts.
Tired of hearing the same thing. People be talking a big game. I'm staying in my own lane. Tired of hearing the same thing. People be talking a big game. I'm staying in my own lane.
I be like, yeah. Sip and get lit to this. You can take a risk on this. Never hit or miss. Let me grant you wish. Yeah. I be like, yeah. Sip and get lit to this. You can take a risk on this. Never hit or miss. Let me grant you wish. Yeah.
Tired of hearing the same thing.
Yo, shout out to Taji Lasano. You can check out this track and his new album, Dig with Kids, on all streaming platforms. I'm going to leave a link in the description below. People, welcome to episode 5 of Unspoken Podcast. I am Anna Paz. First of all, let me just start off by thanking everyone who has been listening to the podcast so far. I'm really happy with how things are growing very naturally, all the support, the kind messages. I'm very grateful. And, this is something that I'm going to be doing regardless because it's something that brings me joy. But of course, when I know people are supporting, people are listening and are genuinely interested in what I have to say, it really makes it all worthwhile. And to continue with that support, have you followed the Unspoken Podcast Instagram? Have you subscribed on YouTube or Substack? Can you give me a nice little rating on Spotify? If not, I would really appreciate if you could do that. It really will help me to build this space and continue to reach more people. I will leave all the details in the description of this podcast. Now, I've decided to take a little break from the Coming to Voice series, and I wanted to give something that is not necessarily a part of my research and work, but I do think it ties in quite well with Capoeira when we think about language and also how that influences culture. Today, I'm going to share some insight from a book written by Professor Kandimba titled The Book of Names from Angola, a collection of 1,000 Angolan names of Bantu origins. He has two versions of this book, one also in Portuguese, which is a larger body of work, and today I'll be referencing the English version. But before diving into this book and some of the words that I thought were really interesting relating to Capoeira, I wanted to give a little brief overview of Bantu people and Bantu languages and what that encompasses and the relevance of Bantu culture and language across the continent of Africa, but also beyond. Bantu refers to a group of people. That's what it actually means, Bantu. And it was a term coined in the 19th century. Bantu is a grouping of speakers of over 500 dialects or languages across the African continent. The Bantu people, I can't fully confirm this because I'm seeing conflicting information, but some say that they originated from the region of modern-day Nigeria, Cameroon. Right? That's the most common understanding. But some say that it's also the region of Congo, Angola. I've also seen some things to suggest that the region of Egypt could also be an origin. I'm not sure about this, so I can't say for sure. But what I can say is that this migration of Bantu people began around 5,000 to 6,000 years ago. So very significant when we think about the depth of our ancestrality. And gradually, this migration spread across the continent, covering a vast area of Central Africa and Southern Africa. This migration had a profound impact on the cultural and linguistic and genetic diversity of Africa. The Bantus' agricultural practices were constantly driven by migration. They really relied on the farming and the ironwork to survive, so they were constantly moving because of this. And as they moved, the Bantus brought with them their knowledge, of course, of iron, tools, farming techniques, and languages. The Bantu migrations led to the development of numerous kingdoms and city-states along their routes, such as the Kingdom of Congo, Great Zimbabwe, and the Kingdom of Luba. These societies thrived through trade and agriculture and established effective political systems during what is understood as the Golden Age of Africa. The Bantu people also contributed to the spread of their linguistic and cultural practices. The Bantu linguistic family is comprised with over 500 distinct languages, spoken by approximately 550 million people across sub-Saharan Africa. This is to say that even though there are now over 500 different dialects or languages, according to the New World Encyclopedia, there are enough commonalities found in the languages to suggest to linguists that they should be classified as belonging to one common language family, or a common language family, I should say. Now, with that brief overview, I would love to get into this book by Professor Kandimba, reading out some relevant words to Capoeira and getting a little bit more of an overview of those words. It was really nice to meet the professor in Lisbon about a month ago now, and it was at Dendé de Marés Capoeira Angola School there. So shout out to Mestre Pezão and Contra Mestre Nadia. It was really a beautiful event actually, and I think the first time that I've been at an event where they really took seriously, having a discussion or having an official part of the program giving reverence to language, and in particular African languages, and how that has helped shape what we understand to be the cultures and languages that we partake in particular something like Capoeira. In general, there is an undeniable connection and influence from Yoruba traditions and the language, but the professor did mention that these particular ethnic groups that were trafficked much later, in fact, hundreds of years later than those who are coming from the Congo, Angola region. So of course, the ones that came later, their customs, traditions, and languages will be a little bit more relevant in terms of a chronological timeline. But what I understood from this conversation, nevertheless, is that the base, the foundation of the African manifestations, the culture, the language in Brazil would have come from Bantu origins. Now, I'm going to go through some of the words in the book. There's literally 1,000 words, but I've picked out a few of them that give some relevance to me and also the practice of capoeira, so we can read a little bit about their meaning and if it actually coincides with what we understand it to be within the practice. So the first word that I'm going to read is ginga. Very important, obviously, in the practice of capoeira. It is the base of the capoeira movements that we do. So the first ginga, njinga, is the one with an N. And that description is scorpion, fierceness, symbolic to fierceness, also an act of twisting or curling something. A name that is assigned to someone who is born with the umbilical cord wrapped around the neck. It also gives reference to Queen Njinga, who was the ruler of Ndongo Matamba, modern day Angola, who was regarded, of course, as one of the greatest symbols of African resistance to European colonization. So that is Njinga, and that is the Kimbondo meaning. The other Jinga, with just a J, is to turn, to twist, to move in a circular directions, as if dominated by other forces but your own. This is a Chokwe name associated with their gods also, and deities and ancestors. So this is a Chokwe translation. I find that really interesting. Both the Kimbundu and Chokwe meanings have some sort of connection, the twisting and the turning, and also this thing of like moving in circular directions as if dominated by other forces than your own. I think the Jinga in capoeira is quite symbolic of that very expressive way of moving in very unpredictable manner. So even though these are two different languages, Kimbundu and Chokwe, they have got some sort of connection, I would say. But I guess it all depends on context. This is something that I'm starting to understand more with African languages, that the context really can shift the meaning of a similar word or the same word actually. The second word is Ngolo, which is something that I referenced in a previous episode. The meaning of it is zebra, or it can also mean knee or joint, which is very interesting. It could also mean elbow. The name is often given to those born on the day when a zebra or an excessive number of zebras is seen, or even on a day where a zebra is hunted. In Kikongo or Chokwe, it means resistance, strength, robustness, firmness. This is the translation that I think I came across in my research. Among the Ntu&Eu, it is the name of traditional fight linked to the origins of capoeira. Angola also is a clan descended from Mpazu, one of the sons of Lukeni, founding king of the Congo Kingdom. Ngolo is a word that is literally across several languages. Kumbundu, Chokwe, Kikongo, there's several. The next word is Ngunga. Gunga. In Umbundu and Nyaneka, it means bell, African double bell, and the name symbolizes authority, power, strength, dominion, and leadership. One who holds the power to ordain. The Ngunga is an object related to the power of kings and queens. So Ngunga is a word across, again, several languages: Umbundu, Kikongo, Kimbundu, Nyaneka, Nengangela, Lawena. So the Gunga is the one who commands. The Gunga is the one who is leading the bateria, and you also have to be super attentive to the chamada, right? That reminds me of a bell, literally, something that is calling your attention. The next word is Kalunga. So I mentioned this word Kalunga and how much it really spoke to me when I first heard it. And here there's a really nice description of it. Kalunga here says God of creation, supreme power, the sea, the ocean, death, the other world, a place of life after death, the abyss, the immensity or eternity. Also a salute to a sovereign or other royal authority, giving indication that one is before a noble, powerful, respected person, what is unbeatable or indestructible. The name invokes greatness and power. Yes, it does. Bantu term for vast use, spelling variation also includes with a C. So wow, like reading that, this is the first time that I've read the meaning of Kalunga in this sort of way, and it just confirms actually to me why I felt so drawn to this word. It's essentially God. Another word, manjinga, something that we use a lot in Capoeira, some expression of movement, of magic perhaps, but here it says that it is a Kikongo word meaning belonging to voices, or it means voices, I think. It derives from the word ndinga, which means voice, the name usually given to children born in troubled homes. Voices, opinions, words, and views appease family conflicts and unite the spouses. That's very interesting. It's never something that I have come across in terms of what Manjinga is, how it's expressed in Capoeira. But of course, a lot of the meanings can have, it's fair to say, and I think the professor did mention this in the event, that, sometimes the words will have several different meanings depending on the context. I've also heard that Manjinga could be referring to the Mandinka people who are from sort of like the Mali, Senegal region, which were one of the later ethnic groups to be trafficked to Brazil. So there could be an influence from that also. So I'm so happy to have purchased this book, to be able to have met Professor Kandimba as well, to see this sort of work. It's really going to help future generations, I think, to connect and reclaim again things that have been lost. I think it's very important when you think about 6,000 years in existence. It would be a shame to lose the connection to that, lose the understanding of the relevance of that also. If you're interested in buying a book, I'm going to leave a link to his socials in the description of this podcast so you can get in contact and figure out a way to buy a book. There's also a Portuguese version, like I mentioned, which is much more comprehensive. I think there's like 3,000 words. So if you speak Portuguese, that might be relevant to you. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to this episode. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I will see you on the next one.